Hello, this is the second part of all of the English tenses. Let's get started. Okay, so moving on to the past perfect simple. This is used to talk about an action or situation which happened before another action in the past. So, John rang Mary's doorbell at 8:15, but Mary had already left. Which action came first? Mary left. Then John rang the doorbell. So here we can see on the timeline that Mary left and then John rang the doorbell. So we use the past perfect to talk about an action, here Mary leaving, which happened before another action in the past, here John ringing the doorbell. Here's another example. When Mrs. Brown opened the washing machine, she realized that she had washed the cat, the toy cat, of course. So looking at the timeline, which action came first? She washed the cat and then she opened the door. So we use the past perfect for had washed as it comes before the opening of the door. So let's move on to the past perfect continuous. We use the past perfect continuous to talk about a longer event which took place before another action in the past. So here we have I had been living in this village for 2 years, so that's over a period of time before I built this house. So this is a continuous tense, therefore it happens over a period of time before another event in the past. So I had been living for 2 years, and on the timeline you can see you were living, you had been living in the village before you built the house. The form here is the subject plus had been and the ing form of the verb. Okay, now we are going to turn to the future tense in English. In English, there are 4 different ways to talk about the future. So it's often unlike our first language, and that's why it's good to know when to use which. The first future we're going to look at is the will future. This is used for making decisions at a time of speaking. So when you spontaneously make a decision. So for instance, I think I'll make curry for dinner tonight. You haven't planned this. You just spontaneously decided. So notice in spoken English, the will is very often contracted to I'll, he'll, will, etc. The form is will plus the bare infinitive. That is the verb without to. The will future is also used for predictions based on your opinion. So it's usually used with phrases like I think or something similar. So here, I've got an example. I think he'll take the job. It seems to be just what he's looking for. This is a prediction based on your opinion. The will future is also used for facts in the future. So for instance, Alice will be 5 next month. This is a prediction. This is a fact we use will. It's also used for threats and promises. So I'll send you the information tomorrow. This is a promise. So we use the will future. Another way to talk about the future in English is with going to. This is used for decisions made before speaking. So plans or intentions. So I'm going to visit Rome this year. I just need to work out when. This is your plan or intention. Something you decided before you speak. So you use going to. The form is going to plus the bare infinitive. The going to future is also used for predictions based on some kind of evidence. So look at those black clouds. I think it's going to rain. This is a prediction because you can see the black clouds, so you have some evidence. So you use going to. The third future we're going to look at is the future with the present continuous. This is sometimes called the diary future, as it's used for arrangements, appointments, things that we could write in our diary, and can only be changed by informing others, so someone else is involved. So for instance, I'm meeting Jackie next Tuesday. Here we have I am, which has been contracted to I am meeting Jackie next Tuesday. We've arranged this with Jackie. It's in the diary, and if you wanted to change it, you would have to contact Jackie. So that's the dire future. The final way to talk about the future in English is with the present simple tense. This is used for schedules, timetables, set often by companies or organizations. So maybe transport companies or schools. So for instance, the plane leaves at 7 a.m. This is a schedule. So we use the present simple. Now looking at the future perfect simple. This is used for something will be finished by a particular time in the future. So for instance, I will have finished the work by next Friday. If we look at the timeline, you can see next Friday is in the future and you will finish the work before that time. The cross is sometime before next Friday. Next Friday is the latest time when you will finish the work. The form is will have plus the past participle. Often the future simple is used with either by or in, and this means not later than the time. So here is another example of the future perfect simple, this time using in. So I'll have finished in an hour, and then you can use the computer. Looking at the timeline, now it's 1 o'clock, and in an hour it's 2 o'clock. Here you are saying that at 2 o'clock latest, you will have finished. This is the latest time when you will finish. You might finish before too, and this is possible too. So now looking at the future progressive. This is used for something that will be in progress at or around a time in the future. So this time tomorrow we will be sitting on the beach. I can't wait. On the timeline you can see we'll be sitting on the beach. In the future, here we're imagining a time in the future when we'll be doing something over a period of time. Remember, it's the continuous form that's over a period of time. The form will be plus the ing form of the verb. Future continuous can also be used to talk about something we assume is happening at the moment, in the present. So, don't phone grandpa, he'll be sleeping. Here we use the future continuous for something we assume is happening now. So finally, we're going to look at the future perfect continuous. We use this tense when we are thinking of ourselves at a time in the future. We are looking back from the time at the duration of an activity. So the activity will have begun sometime in either past, present, or in the future, and is expected to continue into the future. So here, the example we have is in September, I'll have been working in my company for 3 years. We're thinking ahead, September, a future time, and in September, we are looking back at the duration, and you say, I will have been working in the company for 3 years. So on the timeline, you started in the past, it could be the present or the future, and you are looking back over the duration of your work. So remember, a continuous tense looks over a period of time. The form is will have been plus or been in American English plus the ing or ing form of the verb. Or I think I'll wrap up here. So that's it for today. We've just revised all the English tenses. And honestly, this is something I really care about when teaching my children the language.